What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review of the Real Housewives of Dallas, season 4, episode 6. So I'm an episode behind, so you're going to probably get like 3 reviews this week. I was going to go ahead and combine the two, but I decided to just keep it separate. Not a whole lot went on in this episode, but let's just talk about what we did see. So we have we see Cameron her daughter's getting ready to go to away camp. She's getting ready to go away to camp. And I remember my first time going away to camp, and Cameron said that it is so competitive down there in Dallas that she put her daughter's name on the wait list when she was like a couple of months old, and basically her name just came up on the list. And he ordered her a really cute custom trunk, and honey, her daughter is ready to go. Okay, so it was a really cute scene with them, and Cameron is saying, "Mommy's gonna miss you. You're not gonna miss us." And her daughter was like, "Yeah, I'm out of here." It was cute, but that's what we go through, and a lot of times I don't think we understand how independent kids are until they're there. Like a lot of times, you know, the parents are more worried than the kids are. So that was a cute little scene with them. And then we see Deandra meeting up with Travis. Remember, she was supposed to meet with Travis before Mexico. She had a hair emergency and couldn't make it. And Travis gave her some hard truths. And basically what Travis said was, you're going to have to go down to the bones. You're going to have to strip this company down to its bare bones. I mean, even to the point of you're going to have to get rid of this office space. You're going to have to fire some people. And, I mean, Deandra has already let some people go, but they're going to have to go. He said, basically, it's going to have to be you, your husband, maybe an assistant in your garage. Like, it is that serious that you have nothing. You have no capital to play with. Nothing. And, you know, she was saying that she didn't really want to fire people, but she understood that she had to do what she had to do. And then he says to her, he said, look, let me ask you something. How married are you to keeping this company? He said, because I'll be honest with you, my advice is to scrap the whole thing and start over and do something different. He said, I just don't, you know, I feel like you need to just start over. Like, this is just, you need to do something different. And, Deandra said, well, you know, the company has such a legacy. My mom, this was a company she started after she got sick, and these were products that she created out of her illness, you know, of natural products to help her after her illness. And I really don't want to let go because it meant so much and it has such a strong history with my family. And Travis was like, yo, I hear it, but I'm telling you. He said, you know, your mom is very similar to my dad. He's like, it was almost like my dad always felt like he had to be in competition with me. He said, and on one hand, that's a terrible way to be with your children. But on the other hand, it made me fight harder. It made me try harder. So Deandra has some hard decisions to make. And I feel like, although I feel like Deandra was wrong in some of the things she did to Leanne. Y'all know Leanne gets on my nerves, but Deandra was wrong with some of the things she did with Leanne last season. But Deandra could probably really use a friend. Somebody that she trusts. But the problem is, I guess they don't trust each other anymore. But anyway. So then we see Kerry with her daughter. And this is her daughter that's in college. She's getting ready to graduate. She'll be 21. She's had a boyfriend for 3 years. And the conversation was interesting because, you know, I like Kerry. I do. I like Kerry. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about her at first, but after this Mexico trip, I kind of like her. But I feel like there's more to this story with Kerry and her daughters. Because this is the second daughter we've met. The first daughter, yeah, she was a little bratty. But I still feel like the way she talked to her mom and the way she sort of acted towards her mom was a little out of line. And then we see the conversation with this daughter. Now, this daughter was a little bit more respectful. However, she didn't seem to have a lot of respect for some decisions her mother made. Her mother was saying, well, you know, basically her mother was like, I'm a little bit worried about you settling down so soon. Like, I don't want you to do the same things I did. You know, when I got married, you know, I didn't have any money of my own, you know, he said, and she was like, well, that was your decision. I mean, that's what you chose to do. And she said, well, you think that would be a bad thing if you married the first boyfriend you ever had? And her daughter was looking at her like, I don't think that's a bad thing for me to have only had one boyfriend. Like, and it just seemed like maybe there was some things about some decisions that had been made. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be reading too much into it, but that's what I picked up from that conversation. So we see Deandra have the conversation with her husband, and basically she has adopted him as her assistant, and he's helped out. He's a creative director, and he does a lot of he's a what they call him, an editorial photographer, I think is what it is. But he's been helping her with the business because of course he worked for free. And she basically let him know what's going on and that she was going to shut the office down, and basically they were going to all be moving and working at the house. And he was like, all right. You know, he's very supportive. I think. And Deandra was saying that she's angry with her mom. You know, but at the end of the day, you either need to let your mom know how you feel, or you need to just eat it and keep it moving. You know, I do feel like her mother set her up, but what you going to do now? You asked for it, you got it. You never thought to get the books audited before you took the keys to the kingdom. You never thought to check behind your mom and make sure that everything was everything. You just saw your mama, you know, driving a Bentley and living in her house and had her maid in her country club and all of that. You never thought to question the validity of where you were living. And it was a house stacked on, it was a card house, you know, it was a house of paper instead of concrete. And so, yeah, you can be mad at your mom, but you could also be mad at yourself for not treating it as a real business. Because anybody else that's buying a business from someone or inheriting or whatever the business is, you make sure that you cross your T's, dot your I's, you get an audit, you see the books, all of that. You didn't do that. Because had you done it, you might have told your mama to hell with it and kept it moving. The other thing is, and I might be mixing episodes, so if I am, I'm sorry. You know, we learned last year that she sort of gave up her career to move back home on the promises that her mother made her about inheriting this business. And then she used that business and dangled it over her head for the last, 10 years or whatever. So Deandra's dealing with some hard decisions. Now, on the other side of town, we are going to Leanne's bridal shower. It has a Moulin Rouge, Cirque du Soleil type theme. It's lingerie, but it's like Leanne shows up in like circus lingerie. Cameron, of course, looks like something that somebody would have slept in 1870. I don't know. Everybody else showed up in their lingerie. And it was cute. Everybody looked cute. You know, Brandy came through. And what was funny was Cameron and Kerry Dauber, the other Kerry from the other seasons, they were the host. And Cameron was like, not Cameron, I'm sorry, Stephanie. And Stephanie was like, you know, Leanne's acting surprised and like we did so much. She said, but like all reality, Leanne did the whole party. Like she planned it. It was her theme. She told us what we were going to have. She ordered the cake. She did all of this. But it was funny because throughout the whole party, Leanne kept acting surprised every time she saw something. And Stephanie was like, she planned it. It's hers. Like she did this. Like even when the cake came out, Stephanie was like, she ordered the cake. It was hilarious. So now Kerry Dauber, you were being a little messy. Now you ain't been, this is the first episode we done seen you in for longer than 5 minutes, honey. And you was being a little messy. You was being a little bone carrier in this particular scene. I guess she figured I'm gonna get all my screen time in, honey. We'll get there in a second. But Leanne and Brandy had a moment. And, you know, Leanne sees things that she sees. And Brandy, you know, Leanne was just like, you know, you said that I want people to feel sorry for me. And that's not what I want. And I tell my story because that is who I am. And, you know, Brandy was just like, okay. All right. Okay. Because I think Brandy's just tired. Like, Leanne, I'm not going to keep having this conversation about Leanne. Leanne, you do tell your story because you want people to feel sorry for you. Because no matter what happens, you can always outdo the last person. If somebody say that their mama kidnapped them and took them to the Swiss Alps, well, my mama kidnapped me and took me to Antarctica. It's like you have to, your story has to be the worst story. You have to have the worst situation. And it is tiresome because it's like, who wants to be in a friend group where you always feel like you're in competition for the worst story? Not the best story, the worst story. The other thing that sort of went down at the party was Cameron and Kerry and Stephanie. So Cameron, let me make sure I'm getting it right, honey. Let me make sure I'm getting it right. Yeah. Cameron was passive aggressive, okay? She wasn't being rude and ignoring Stephanie, but she wasn't really talking to Stephanie. And she said that she still felt some kind of way about how things went down in Mexico because she felt like Stephanie opened up to other people, to the new person, whereas when she was the new person, Stephanie didn't give her the same benefit of the doubt, and she just really felt some kind of way about it. So Kerry is having a conversation with, I want to say it was Kerry and Stephanie. Let me make sure I get this right. I think it was Kerry and Stephanie. I think it was, anyway, the old Kerry, the old Kerry, the plastic surgeon, the one that's married to the plastic surgeon, that's a nurse. She sort of had a conversation with Cameron, and then she took that conversation and went back to Stephanie with it about who's speaking to who and who's mad at who and why they mad at each other. Now, either she took it from Cameron to Stephanie or from Stephanie to Cameron, but either way, she was carrying some bones, okay? Now, the new Kerry showed up, and the new Kerry had some she had some questions. She had some questions about why we wearing lingerie at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Why did I get invited but Deandra didn't? She said, I feel kind of funny because Deandra is my friend, yet she didn't get an invitation and I did. She said, I thought, that they had sort of made up after Mexico. I thought things were pretty good, with Mexico. But, come to find out, Leanne said she still didn't feel comfortable inviting Deandra. Even after Mexico, she said, we got back from Mexico and Deandra hasn't called me and I haven't heard from her. And, the way I look at it is, and y'all have heard me say this before, if this is what's on your mind, then you're not ready to forgive. You're not ready to forgive her. And it's okay to say, you know what? You hurt me and I'm not ready to forgive you. It's okay to say that. But instead, you're allowing what other people want to happen, and probably the show, to pressure you into making a decision you're not ready to make. But anyway, that's pretty much how everything went down at the shower. It wasn't a whole lot. I mean, Leanne got some nice gifts, and there was a little bit of friction, but I'm sorry. Stephanie and Cameron did actually sit down to talk. But again, and Stephanie was telling Cameron that the trash comment really bothered her, and Cameron's thing was this: you saw Brandy behaving badly and you didn't correct Brandy. Stephanie said, I was getting ready to correct Brandy, but then you threw the napkin in Brandy's face and called her trash. Like, you didn't give me a chance to defend you. Now, I will say this, Stephanie, I like you, but I don't really know how much defending you would have done, because that's your girl. Y'all might all be friends, but Brandy is your girl. So Cameron was like, look, we can move on, but, I still feel the way I feel. I still feel like I didn't get a fair shake. I still feel like they treated me differently. And it is what it is. She was like, I'm still very hurt by it. So they didn't come to any type of resolution at that moment. It sort of just ended abruptly, with Cameron sort of saying, look, this is how I feel, and I'm not going to apologize for it, and I'm tired, of feeling like I'm the bad guy. I feel like I did something wrong. And she even got a little loud, honey. She got a little loud and made a scene. And, Cameron don't really do too much of that. And she exited stage, left, honey, in her 1780 nightgown, looking like Rip Van Winkle, honey. But anyway, I think I might have combined some stuff that happened at this shower and what happened at the next shower, if I have to be honest. Because Leanne had 2 showers. She said she having this shower, then she having the co-ed shower, then she having the couple shower, I ain't never seen so many parties before the wedding. But she said that's what they do in Dallas. So I guess that's what they do in Dallas, honey. I don't know, because I never went to a wedding in Dallas. Certainly not Dallas elite. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. I'm sorry if I combined the two, but it is what it is, honey. It was just more the same at the next party. But it got a little deep at the next party between Leanne and the new Kerry. We'll get to that, though. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.